So then if you spot me coming around that corner, you're just gonna walk out on this woman? Not say goodbye? That's the discipline.
Hey, bitch, I'm back outside. They getting surprised when they hearing these beats like epiphanies. Back and forth with this African booty scratcher. I left all of that talking for bitches be hours at the shed.
The cinematic landscape is abundant with heist films. Over 100 years worth of heist-focused movies have established conventions of the genre that audiences have become very familiar with. Michael Mann utilizes this to inform the audience's interpretation of his 1995 film Heat, opting to employ these elements for the sake of creating a daring, layered, and meaningful picture that evokes thought and discussion rather than simply a commercially viable one. Heat follows Macaulay, a professional heist mastermind played by Robert De Niro that gets the heat on his tail, or in other words, the attention of Police Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, played by Al Pacino. The film centers around two heists, however, it's really about the connection between Macaulay and Hanna, two distinctly different men who, in spite of their endless differences, find commonality within their shared humanity. Michael Mann's Heat uses the elements of the heist genre to ensure the audience interprets the film's core idea that individuals can relate, empathize, and connect with each other through humanity's collective imperfection. The first thing the audience sees Macaulay do is steal an ambulance with ease. His professional demeanor conveys his competence as a criminal. By writing Macaulay to already be an accomplished criminal in adherence with heist film conventions, Mann establishes Macaulay's connection with his craft immediately, allowing this devotion to preface the events of the entire film, looming over the audience mind just as it looms over and haunts Macaulay's. In the following scene, Macaulay uses the ambulance to stop an armored shipping van in the middle of a road so that his colleagues can ram it with an enormous construction truck. A complex heist ensues and millions of dollars worth of barrel bonds are stolen from the van. The complex and intricate heist is a staple of heist cinema, and so by introducing these characters during one, their dynamics are quickly defined and Macaulay's devotion is made more potent. Heist films are crime films, and criminals aren't often pleasant people, therefore a convention of the genre is to make the protagonist endearing. Initially, Macaulay is shown committing a crime appearing fierce and tough, however, once he goes home, we see a different side of him. He is alone. The room is dark and joyless. Cold blue moonlight floods the frame, silhouetting Macaulay against this melancholic atmosphere, pressed against the vastness of the ocean, showing the depth of his isolation. He's even alone in the frame. The wide cinemascope ratio shows the nothingness on either side of him, and looming behind him is his gun, representing the reason for all of this, his devotion to his work. This loneliness humanizes Macaulay. In Macaulay's next scene, he instinctively responds to a sweet girl with hostility, only to apologize a minute later as he realizes the innocent nature of the advance. Despite his heist mastery, he's lonely, and pretty bad at talking to girls, which is endearing and relatable. Macaulay's internal conflict between his loneliness and his dedication to his craft is the driving thematic force of the film. Mann therefore uses this heist convention to further the film's messaging. Police Lieutenant Vincent Hanna is Macaulay's total antithesis and his closest parallel. Hanna's introduction mirrors Macaulay's. Hanna is shown a devoted and competent practitioner of his profession, and this devotion leaves him fighting for love at home in the next scene, just like Macaulay. This scene uses composition to outline Hanna's relationship with his third wife, just as Macaulay's first scene alone uses composition to establish his loneliness. The show is framed so they are each in the background of each other's foreground, ensuring they feel separated and apart. The scene is staged as such to highlight the distance between them, with Hanna's gun separating them, symbolizing his occupational devotion just as the gun did for Macaulay. Only Hanna's occupation is directly antithetical to Macaulay's. This known heist convention of personifying the protagonist's opposition is manipulated in Heat through the two characters' shared domestic difficulties, a dynamic that drives the film's deeper symbolic meaning regarding unity between distinctly different people. In the first act of the film, Macaulay falls in love with a girl named Edie. In Heat, this love interest B-plot is uniquely entwined with and integral to the A-plot. Edie serves as the catalyst for Macaulay's internal conflict, and the allure of her love challenges his devotion to crime. From this internal conflict, the climactic final heist is spawned, a desperate effort to pull off one last bank heist, with the heat all around them for the sake of having enough money to flee the country with Edie. After a huge shootout, Macaulay escapes with Edie and cash. In so many heist films, this is a cathartic moment, but in Heat, there is only tension and discomfort, as the focus isn't, and never truly was, on the heist, but on Macaulay's conflicted self. I said earlier that the opening heist looms over the audiences and Macaulay's minds, and in this moment, its presence is deafening. Macaulay's discipline as a devoted member of his crew calls him to seek vengeance on Waingro, the man who betrayed his crew, starting the entire conflict. But to do so would mean death. The heist is won, the girl is won, but the score is not settled. This manipulation of two paramount heist conventions, the success of the heist and the protagonist getting the want and the need, serves as the film's true thematic conclusion. Macaulay goes back to kill Waingro. He's caught by Hannah and shot. Hannah has undergone a similar thematic journey throughout the film, failing to save his marriage because of his commitment to his work. So, Hannah and Macaulay are enemies, but in the end, they see within each other their own inability to manage love and devotion. They share an imperfection, a humanity, and on that level, they can connect and respect each other. Through this, the film's core message is conveyed. Heat is a complex and layered film that uses these 7 heist film conventions in order to ensure the audience interprets the film's underlying message about finding commonality with people you share nothing in common with through your shared humanity. In a world that has become as divided as our own, this concept has become a relic of a bygone era. Media corporations feed off of alienation and vilification, and society has become obsessed with aligning themselves to dogmatic political agendas that generate a sense of community through mass disparagement and the dehumanization of their political opposition. At the end of the day, we are all people, and very few people wake up in the morning with the intention of making the world a worse place. So if we could recognize this, and try to understand and sympathize with one another in the way that Macaulay understands and sympathizes with Hannah, then and only then can we truly grow as a civilization. Thank you.